Okay guys, so I'm installing the RAM into the motherboard. First off, you gotta have the Corsair Vengeance facing to your right or left, depends where you want. This way for me. First you have to unclip. I almost forgot that. Like so. Then line it up so it's perfectly aligned. You hear the clipping sound, clip it in. Then once, perfect. You're supposed to hear a snapping noise when you put it in and then clip it, or do the other way around. You clip it in and then snap it.
Now what you're gonna want to do is do the same to the like you did to the first one, but you're gonna want to space it so that so there's 4 DIMMs on the RAM slots. The first DIMM is what you've plugged in your RAM to. The second DIMM, they both control the same thing. The 3 and 4 DIMM, they're two totally different. And if you plug 1 and 2 DIMM, which is what I said in this video, if you plug it both into the same thing, they're not going to be able to control the 3 and 4 DIMM, which isn't good. You're going to want to put 1 in the first DIMM and 1 in the third DIMM, so just one apart from each other.
Okay, so I just went and grabbed some screwdrivers. This one is a Phillips. Make sure it's not too big, not too small. About this size. And a flathead screwdriver that's very small. About the smallest you can find. Okay, so first, this screw right here. This thing is a screw and the bottom part is a screw. First of all, you take the Phillips screwdriver, you line it with the one screw, and you unscrew it. Then this little screw comes out. The next, take the flathead, right where the flathead lines up right here. Like so, you unscrew. Then you get this screw, and you screw it into here. Make sure it's not too tug, but it's good enough. And the reason why you have to do it is because the circle right here, this is part of this screw, so it slots into here. First, you take the SSD and you put it into this clip right beside here. Make sure it's aligned with the ball that's right here. You hear that click and see how it's like flying like this? And so you might be wondering why I'm leaving it floating and it's just like this. It can't go down. The reason why, because this thing will be holding it down. But this screw, you have to screw it into here so it stops from floating. Don't be frustrated because this is hard. Every person I know have had trouble with this. Okay, if you make mistakes during this, see how it holds it down? Make sure it's nice and tight. So, as you can see from the beginning, when I was trying to screw this thing, it was kind of going sideways. Do not do that. That will strip the bottom part of it, the screw part, and the Phillips slot. So when you're doing that, unscrew it and screw it back in, straight. Because I was screwing it in this way. Screw it in as straight as you possibly can. And make sure it's nice and snug, and you got your SSD. Okay, so if you're wondering why this tape is still on, because I want to tape for the video. Usually I don't really like taking it off because I like so if it gets like all greasy, then I can take it off when it gets all greasy. But I won't. Nice. Okay, so now with your Phillips screwdriver, take off the screws off your case. So just a little friendly tip here. Whenever you have, like say your motherboard has this protection tape on it, please take that thing off. If you don't, it will burn and just completely destroy your motherboard. So just remember that. Same with PC case. The inside of it, this part right here, should have plastic on the inside if you have the glass panel, which is what I had, so I took it off. So you gotta unscrew the back parts right here. These ones you can just do it with your hands if you want, but I like using the screwdriver. Okay, so with some PC cases, they slide out or they pop off. For mine, it slides right out. Gonna get right at the middle and get it off. And now you have the inside of your PC case. Okay, so this thing was attached to right here. You should have like a bag of stuff, like zip ties, like it was all right here, and these rubber, which you're gonna need for screws later on. Okay, so this part, it can get very finicky putting in the motherboard. So what you gotta try to do is very carefully, you do not want to scratch your case, is you go down as slow as you can, try to get into the wall, like so. And all these wires here, they can get super annoying. You gotta just get them out of the way. It's like right here, there's these 2 wires, and they're in the way of me trying to get my USB ports into this bottom slot. Okay, so this wire's in the way right now, so I have to get it out. And so these wires, these darn wires, are always in the way. Like, these are your biggest enemy. And so there's these screws and pins right here. So you have to put them over top of the pins. Just like so. And no worries if you're trying to take it out. Bring this side up, bring it up and around, and the total opposite I did before. Okay, so now we have these screws from the bag, and with the slots that are in here, get your Phillips screwdriver and just start drilling them. Okay, so for some cases, there are holes right here for like wires to go through and all that. So right here, here, and here, 3 places at the very right of me have no screw holes, but here, 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 and here, they all have it.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt Sealing, Trenton's dad. So we've been working on this PC build together. It's definitely more challenging than what either of us had imagined. But the good news is it all can make sense if you just slow down, have a look, figure out. Now the challenge to this, the biggest challenge we find is that even the other videos and diagrams that we've seen are different than our setup, and everybody has a different setup. So for this particular one, we had to figure out on our own how it goes. These wires are the most tricky that we've ever run into. So some of these made sense, like this one, it had the name on it, it was the same size, bada boom, bada bing, no problem. These guys back here, it took us a while even to figure out where these are supposed to go. That's where Mr. Manual came in. So we flipped through and we found this particular one, front panel header. So this is, down here is the front panel header. You need to figure out what orientation, which direction does this go? Is it this way or is it this way? Now, we were able to figure out this way because on these pins down here, there are gaps. So on the picture it shows, and the gaps on the picture in the, so hopefully I'm not making this too complicated. The gaps on here are the same as the gaps there. You just have to figure out, is it this way or is it this way? And again, everybody's will be a bit different, so don't go by this and say, oh, that's the way Matt and Trenton did it, so it's right. You need to get your manual, hook it up to your particular setup. So with that being said, the other challenge we ran into is there was minuses and pluses. On these little clips, there is no minus and plus on it. It doesn't say, oh, that side's plus and that side's minus. Some of them do, actually some of them do, but some of them don't. So what I've figured out is if you take this clip and put it so that the words are facing out on the far side here, if the clip goes in that side, make the words face out. Now your plus and minuses are correct. If you have to clip on this side, so this side of the setup, then your words face out that way, and then your pluses and minuses are correct. I'm really hoping that all makes sense. So in this case, I know I have to put this one on this side, so my words are facing out. Now I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna unplug them all, and then plug them all back in so that you can see how it goes. I'm really hoping this all makes sense, and we will go from there. All right, so down here when we have this whole thing set up, all of these cables were just kind of willy-nilly. So we put it in there, and you can do it from the back side down there. And then as you figure out where these cables go on this side, you bring them out accordingly. So in this case, these 3 cables are going along here. They're out this hole. All of these cables, including this one, were on this side, so we brought them out of this hole. And again, everyone's going to be different. We've found some setups that these things are not in this case. They're all individual and they go sideways as opposed to front and back. So that changes a lot of things. It might make it easier, I don't know. But there's how you do. So this guy here, I'd plugged him in and we were going to unplug it, but it takes a little bit. You have to get a pin, push this little blue button down here to pull it out because it's a release. It's really obvious. It's the one that has to go in. It is called the USB 3.0, and on the back of this button says USB 3.0. So you just clip that in, make sure the button's out, and again, it's very obvious. There's only one way you can do it. These guys over here, same kind of idea. It's very obvious. HD audio, and you look down here, oh, HD or audio, and it's very, very stand out. So you know that it has to go this way. Again, words facing out. I don't know how well you can see that. So here's the words. HD audio facing out, not in. And this is how you'll know that it's done correctly. Pushes down. Now, pushing it down is a bit of a challenge. You got to really make sure it's down without wrenching on it. But you'll feel it's like, okay, this is good and solid. It's not moving. So this one here, you can see it's got 3 pins. 1, 2, space, pin. Okay, so 3 pins total with 1, 2, space, pin. Hey, look at that. Right down here, LED 1. Even though there's no markings on it, it's the only one like it. Sweet. So we go down. In this case, got to make sure that it's right way. The 1 pin's on this side, down here. The 1 pin's on this side. It's a no-brainer. And make sure that you don't bend it. We have not bent any yet. We are very thankful. On that note, we don't know what to do if you do bend them. I would quickly talk to a professional store if anything like that happens. And so for us, Canada Computers, where we'd go to. But yeah, just try and be careful. So this one says USB back here. Hey, look at that. F USB 2. And then there's F USB 1. I like putting it in the ones. You take that, make sure that the words are facing out. Okay, so you know my rule about making sure the words face out. Well, this one had to go and bust it up. So the pin setup is called a 9 pin. 5 on one side, 4 on the other. Down here, there's our 9 pin. But instead of the missing one being on this side, which is where it should be according to my calculations, it's on this side. So you gotta watch for that. So now the words are facing in, USB. That's the way it's gotta be. And again, is it in? Yeah, it feels pretty snug and comfy. There's no click, no fancy anything. All right, so here's the fun ones. Okay, so as we talked about the orientation of what this is compared to what the actual is. Now, because of how this is set up, I need to look for the bottom 3 lonely pins down there. And according to down here, they're not on that side, they're on this side. So that means the orientation of this is this way, is upside down. It's not the way that I'm reading it. It has to be upside down because the pins are up here. So I'm gonna put them in that same corner, and I'm gonna start with, tells me to do, I can do the 2 negatives. I can do either negative first and then a positive. There's only 1 negative and 1 positive. So I'm gonna skip 1 to the negative first in the second hole, and then the positive in the first hole. Now, just so you guys know, this is not easy stuff. They come out, they go in. Sometimes I'll try and put them together, do them both at the same time, and oftentimes that works too. So there we got the negative and positive. So now we're gonna do the reset switch. The reset switch is, according to our manual, over here in the middle of these 2. And again, I keep the words facing out. Words facing out that way. Now we have the power LED. No, we have HD LED, which is beside that, which is the hard drive activity LED. Again, words facing out. I believe I got it there. Now we have the power switch, power SW. And again, according to this, I know I need to put that back. So the words are facing out, now out the other way. So that in this case, you could actually read them. And they go right here. There. Now they're on the back holes. And actually with this one, I put it one over. There we go. So now I can see 2 pins there that are open, because that's the power LED and we don't have one of that. And then I see all these 4 of these open speaker. We don't have any of that. We see one open here, because that's the extra negative power LED. So, yours might be a little different. Yours might be sideways. The
Tell
pins.
us in the comments if something goes wrong or something is good that we didn't explain. Please tell us in the comments. I will reply.
Excellent. That's how you do the front panel header.
Okay, so we're gonna be working on the power supply. My power supply is the Seasonic 750 watt Focus PSU. So first, take your PSU and put it below down here. So the wires can really get in the way, and it can be kind of annoying, but you just gotta work around these different things. There we go. So it actually should be the other way, but I decided to go up because there's more vents. It's actually supposed to go down. As you can see, like the Seasonic logo and this, they're both flipped over. Because Seasonic recommends it to be below and everybody else, but I think it's better to be up top. That's just my opinion. You can do whatever you feel like, but I just want to do this one. And then with all your cords, put them at the cord section right below here. Okay, so now I take this cord. This one is supposed to be 24, and then there's these 2 cables attached. With this cable, put it at the 24-inch connector right here. You should hear a click right when it snaps in. Try to get both ends. There's the click. And now with these 2, get your power supply, which is right back here. Okay, so now bring it below here. Let's bring this one right in the middle, right here. It's not too hard to get in, but it can be kind of tricky. There's the click. And now with right here, so you see that there's this button kind of thing right here. Align it with the very bottom, right beside it, to my right. Now, they're both in. So now I'm just gonna do a little test. I'm going to see if at least any RGB or anything turns on. Okay, so now, click your power, and there's our RGB. I have my 2 RAM sticks going off. My fans aren't working because they're connected to my PC, and my PC has to be connected to an outlet, so then everything will work together. But just because this RGB from the RAM is like very small and it's inside the motherboard, it can power it very easily. So if you don't have RGB anywhere, or like RGB RAM, don't worry, it's probably working. Okay. So this is how to install the GPU. You gotta get the end of the graphics card into the gray graphics card tray right in there. My buddy Falcon Fork's doing it. You can hear him talking.
There we go.
So graphics card credit goes to him. His link will be in the description.
And then we take this piece. Wait. So we take this piece, put it back here, screw everything up. There's the screws.
So then you get the screw, and then you screw this thing back up. And then there's clamps right behind here. So right when you get it in, the clamps will close in. And then you have to pick up this thing, and then after put it back, then use these top screws.
Screw everything.
Screw everything back in. Yeah. And then there should be a PCIe. So this is my other graphics card from my other PC. It's a 1660 Super. So PCIe is a graphics card. If you don't know a graphics card, it helps with your graphics. It helps you mine more. You can also mine with the CPU, but it doesn't do very much. This is the cable that we're going to be connecting my other graphics card that's down there. And then the end of this is for the PSU, which is the power supply. This is the Seasonic Focus GX 750 watt. It's 80 plus gold. So you're gonna want to get 80 plus gold instead of 80 plus bronze, because gold is a lot better than bronze, as you all know. There's no 80 plus silver.
Sad.
So I don't think I actually showed how to like plug in everything for the PSU. So right here, the peripheral and SATA, this is where you put your power unit for your hard drive, or if you have like a lot of hard drives, and where you put it. If you have two, and then you have a really big one that goes. Right here is where the 24-pin header goes, for like the power motherboard. And also, if you have an external power supply, it will come with this thing. So you want to plug that into that. And there's another peripheral in SATA. This is where you put your GPU. Sometimes put your GPU in these. And right here is where you plug in your CPU. So sometimes you'll have an 8-pin header. Sometimes you'll have two 8-pin headers. Sometimes you'll have a 4-pin. You know, it's always different for every single CPU. So you could also have a 6+2, which is what this says right here. So you could have 6 and then a slit where you put the 2, and same with this one.
So first, you're gonna want to get your cord, put it this way, put it over like this, and then these two screws right here, gotta align them. Those screw holes, I should say. Then I have really, really long screws that came with it, and I put them right through. There we go. Okay, so that's on. So the reason why we took off this third one, even though I have a dual fan, it's just enough so that the fan won't fit, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. Then you're gonna want to get your thingy right here. Put it right here. The AIO, as you would call it. And then you're gonna line it up with these screws. Make sure you do the back side first, because it's a lot harder than you want to do hard to easy. So once you get this one in, oh my gosh, that's hard. Okay, so they're both in. So now you're gonna want to get your screwdriver and screw them right in. So make sure not to tighten this, because you have to get under here. So first, remember that this is back. So whenever you see the cord going through, that's back. This part where this says NZXT or your brand name, then that's the front. Don't line all the screw holes. This one is on. I have to get the other one. That one's in, this one should be in, if I'm not wrong. Make sure not to tighten it fully. So I'm missing just a little bit. So now I gotta do the top parts. Should be kind of hard. And again, make sure not to tighten it. It's on, but not tight. And then I have these two for the top ones for here. So this one is kind of hard because I can't see the screw hole. So I think I gotta try to lower this somehow, but like just enough so that I can fit it under like I did with this one. Okay, I don't know if this will be enough room, but I'm gonna try. I think it actually might be. I did get it. Okay, there we go. Have them all in, and now we're gonna tighten them. Okay, so I gotta get the cables up here. This one's on, easy. Remember, you're gonna want good cable managing. Okay, so I think I know what I'm doing with the water cooling now. A little bit better. So you're gonna need this USB 9, and then you have to have that AMD bracket. So it's really easy to take this thing off, because all you have to do is turn it to the, well, I mean, it's not super easy, but there we go. And then you put this AMD bracket. It looks kind of the same, but it's not. I'll tell you that. And just, oh, don't want to get the thermal paste. You don't want to smear that, because that will suck. It's really hard to put back on. Click, and it's on. Then, with the thermal paste, you have to decide which way you want it. So, I need to unplug this first. So I gotta decide which way I want it, or whatever way the NZXT, I have to take this thing off. So it's fine that the NZXT is gonna be another way, it doesn't matter that much.
You can flip the logo in NZXT cam.
Here's right here. There should be 4 of them. And right now I'm holding it right here because they're thermal paste. So I have to hold that for a bit. Might be kind of hard because I have to hold it while I. Okay, I got this set. I'm gonna do the top. I'm gonna do the top right and then the bottom left. So that's what you should always do. This type of stuff. Pretty smart. I don't need to hold it now. Sorry about that. You couldn't see it. I kind of like how it's going out like this. Okay, so all these cables are needed for the NZXT X53 water cooling. This is the USB bus. And this is the 9-pin. This is for the PC case for the RGB and the power. And then this is to plug into the motherboard. So I just need to get my last on. And then make sure they're all tightened. And then make sure the thermal paste is really on there. That's why you gotta tighten it fully, because the thermal paste has to get right on the CPU, smeared all over, so that it could detect how hot or cold it is, and so it keeps the CPU actually cold so it doesn't overheat and blow up. One of my buddies actually had that happen to them. Their PC blew up because he did the power supply wrong, and it caught on fire. So yeah, that's one thing we cannot let happen. That's one risk people take with building PCs. So yeah, let's start putting things on it. This USB is right on here. Just gonna put it right over the RAM. A lot of people clip them in before they attach to everything, so I'm doing after, just because that's what I like to do, because it's just the way I do things. I'm a different guy.
So as you can see, there are some male to female connectors that I am putting on currently. So they are male to female for the NZXT X57 or whatever you have. Then all I have to do is clip them in, then you're done these cables.
Okay, so you have to get this male and this female, and then go pop. So this is the fan, and then this is the cable to connect the screen to the fan filter.
And after you connect those two, there should be a USB bus that you plug into the LCD screen. And then there should be a 9-pin header that you bring down and put it to the USB 3.0 at the very bottom of your motherboard. You might have also another 9-pin, so you'll want to plug that one in again. If you only have 2 USB 3.0s and you need 3, then I'll show you a way to get more, link in the description. So there might be some more male to female headers. So right here on mine, this one right here, this is a 4-pin header. This goes right onto my motherboard. I have a 3-pin or 4-pin header. There might be a 3-pin or 4-pin up here, maybe above the RAM or beside it. There will be a 3 or 4-pin header that you plug into.
Okay, so this is the hard drive tray. This is the hard drive. As you can see, remember when you took it out before, slots in perfect. Pretty easy to install. I think it takes you like 3 to 4 minutes. So I'm gonna show you how to put it back inside your case. So first, you gotta put it from this side. You gotta put it in. And you gotta turn around and bend it. Do not scratch your PC case. because that will suck. And then bend it right back, so just in case it's bent this way. And then you're gonna want to find that hole that's there. So make sure to pick the one that's furthest. So for me, it's this one, because you want more air for, so I'm gonna be having 2 fans right here, so I want more air for those fans. So you gotta lift it up just a little bit to try to find the hole. So it's right here. Slot right in, and you're gonna want to turn it clockwise. And it's in. And then there should be 4 screws. Then you should have 4 screws right here. And slot them all in. Remember to try to align them. Make sure they're straight, as always. So I missed right here. So it's supposed to go. So to have these 2, it should be pretty easy. And then get your Phillips screwdriver and screw them all in like you would. Okay, so now we have our hard drive tray in. And now we're gonna work on the hard drive. Okay, so some hard drives, they have these fancy hard drive sleeves in the hard drive tray. Mine just has a hard drive tray. And today, I'm here to show you how to get it all just in one hard drive tray. All the videos we've looked at, because we were so stumped, because we haven't seen anything like this. They all had hard drive sleeves, like here, 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 right here, right here, right here. So you can install a bunch of them. But we're here to show you just with a tray, in case you have that. Okay, so first, you're gonna wanna get your whatever hard drive you have. For me, I have the Seagate Barracuda Compute 2 terabyte. And you're gonna want it to get facing down. Well, right now, this part is facing down. When I flip it over, it's facing up. Right now, it's facing down. So I'm just gonna put it right here. And then I have this screw that comes in your case, and this mesh stuff. You're gonna wanna put it like this. And we did that to all of them. So one thing we found out is that we tried to just screw this thing in without the mesh, and then we put it on, we're like, hey, it's sliding around, it's gonna fall. But you actually have to put this stuff on, and then it's all good. So I gotta try to find the holes. So you're gonna line it up with right here. Okay, so you're gonna wanna get your screw and put it, I like to put mine right in the middle first. So mine's a little bit crooked, so I gotta put it straight. Then you wanna get your Phillips screwdriver and screw it all the way in. So now, you're gonna wanna get the screw, put it right here. Perfect. You're gonna wanna screw it in, and then do that front and back. So it's very, very hard to put in both sides, but it works. I thought you only could do one side, not the other, but it's just very hard, but we got it, and it's all fine now. So it's all on. PC's looking pretty good. And now we're gonna work on the cable part of the hard drive. Okay, so you're gonna want a SATA cable, a SATA data cable, and only these 2 plugs. This one is for something else, I'm not very sure, but tell me in the description if you know. I'm gonna go with my SATA cable. You just plug it in so that the pin is on the bottom. So, boop. And then you can take it out like this. Very, very simple. You just pull the pin and then you're gonna wanna get this, the SATA data cable. The pins are at the bottom here, or sorry, the top. So you're gonna wanna get the pins up like this. There you go, now you have your ports. Okay, so with your SATA cable, you're gonna wanna get this cable right here, has this metal pin right here. the end of the SATA cable that we plugged into the HDD. You're gonna want to put it right through here and into any of these. So I'm just gonna plug it into this one. Boom. And then after, when I have the power supply installed, you're gonna want to get this one and then plug it into your power supply. And then boom, you have your HDD installed.
So if you're wondering why the power supply wasn't installed before, because I installed the HDD at the very beginning, but I thought it would be best to show it at the end. It'll just be easier for you guys to see it.